What's going on, Instagram and Facebook? How we doing, people? I'm here live with Alex Schlinsky. In about 2 seconds, I'm going to pull you guys up on my side screen so we can make it official. But
hashtag Facebook official.
Hashtag Facebook official.
There we are
live.
Oh yeah, look how
Let me
good
get
I
this
look.
bad boy up. Oh my God.
Dopest.
Amazing, amazing. All right, cool. We'll let some people pile in. And I got my boy Alex in here. And Alex, just so you know, there's probably about a 30-second delay here. So when you're doing the weird movements, you won't see the weird movement until about 30 seconds later.
I've never used Facebook
we'll start
Live
doing
before,
them
so
together.
I don't know that there's a delay.
Yeah, right? Just like every other thing that Facebook does.
You know, just use it every
But
day.
I'm here. So what's cool is, and I'm going to show you this. I know it's crazy.
Where's that one coming from?
We got a front screen right here. Then we got the side screen, which is right here. Then we got the GoPro, which is right there up top. What? And then we got the TV, the touchscreen TV, which we're going to be doing some really cool stuff on. So guys, we're going to have about 30 minutes where we're going to unload some massive value bombs on you guys. And you're going to be like, Chad, I don't know if I'm ready for it, but chances are you are. You just got to let it in and absorb the information. So let's have some fun. Alex, tell them a little bit about who you are, what you do now, what you've done in the past. I want to know everything about you. Well, I kind of do already. We got awkward last time we spoke because we do all the same shit. But tell them a little bit about yourself, what you do, introduce yourself, get them all excited.
I see that, facebook.com/ I see it.
That Facebook, you see that? Yes.
So first and foremost, I've done like, I don't know, 5,000 Facebook Lives. I've done a couple in a few people's offices, Jeff Miller and a couple other people. This is the dopest office I've ever been in terms of Facebook Live action. They're leveling it up, yo. So it's pretty dope. So if you don't know me, first and foremost, welcome. I'm not really sure which camera to use. Usually I'm like looking at like one like very distinct camera. So like there's like 40 here and a bunch of lights. But anyways, yeah, my name is Alex Schlinsky. I run a coaching program called Prospecting on Demand. It's on my shirt. It's very pretty and everything. I think you can even see it in 4K.
Amazing.
Which is dope. Dope. Yeah, so I also run a marketing agency called Sky Social Media. We focus on attorneys only, specifically personal injury attorneys. Basically what I do is I teach entrepreneurs, mostly agency owners, several other coaches and consultants as well, on how to build out effective long-term relationships with their clients, create effective systems for growth, remove yourself as what we would call the freelancer from your business, and build a business that's an asset. A lot of people have businesses that are actually just a freelance job. What I like to do is build businesses that can work without you, and that's essentially what we're here to talk about.
Ooh. All right, so I'm going to fire out. We're going to do some rapid fire questions. I'm going to fire out some questions that so just so you know, everybody in our group is all agency owners.
Perfect.
They all share the same mindset, they share the same goals. They all do the same thing and they want the same in return, right? So I think one thing that everybody wants to know is your journey's been so long. First of all, how long have you been doing the agency thing for?
So here's the shortened version of it. I was in school at UCF in Orlando in
which
2010.
makes it awkward because I was up there too.
Lots of similarities between both of us. So I went to school at UCF in 2010, and my next door neighbor, who also went to Young Israel, was a attorney, and I needed some side cash. So I spoke to him about potentially working with him while I was out in school, and he mentioned that Facebook had just released business pages at that time. This is before ads even came out on Facebook. And he was like, I think it's going to be important in the future to have a ongoing presence on Facebook. He was obviously right.
100%.
He paid me $1,000 a month to post for him on Facebook once a day. And
so just straight up social media posts, not even ads.
Not even ads. And then also a constant contact email once a week. So my consistent daily job was go on NHTSA, which is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and post about car recalls and freaking airbags that don't open up.
A bunch of random shit.
Random stuff. I ended up not even realizing that social media marketing or digital marketing was a thing until 4 years later, after I already had 5 clients. Because I asked him when I was in school if he had any referrals. So guys, this is a really valuable tip. If you work with anyone in the dentistry space or the legal space, they went to school specifically for that requirement in that job, they probably have really close connections with people that they went to school with, even if it was 10 or 20 years ago.
Wait, hold on one second. So are you saying that like-minded people hang out?
100%, my dude. That's the
I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
I know that's completely mind-blowing
Some
information.
people are like, because we had a whole thing.
We got to slow down the mind-blowing information.
So it's funny because yesterday we did a first live episode for our Dash University program. And the whole thing was, buy it. It's $1. You can get it. This isn't a sales pitch.
Yes, it is.
One of the major things that I went live about was talking about like communication and just starting a conversation with somebody,
Huge.
right? Like everybody's like so stressed out about like how to gain like 50,000 clients in a matter of 24 hours when you just get one client and just go out and start conversations. So basically, you said that you knew somebody, that it was an attorney, and you just went and asked him if he needed help. Exactly. And he said yes.
Yep.
And then he paid you $1,000 a month, and from that ended up landing you 5 more clients, which I'm assuming is probably about $1,000 a month.
Exactly.
Right? So that's $5K a month just from one person.
One person.
From starting one conversation from one person. Is that
exactly?
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm on the same page.
It gets even better.
That's good.
So I asked him, like, do you still connect with anyone that you went to law school with? And he's like, you know, I was actually in a fraternity at my law school, and I'm boys with like 20 people, including 5 attorneys in Florida. Connecting with all of them, easiest sell of my life. I didn't even have to sell them. He's like, oh, Lloyd sent you? Yeah, we're good. Here's $1,000. Post for me. So at that time, I still think my entrepreneurial brain was really new. I really did not identify and recognize the opportunity. I was really focused on school. I just wanted to achieve what I wanted to achieve at UCF, and then from there, see what I can create. Long story short, what I wanted to do at UCF was become a clinical psychologist. Ended up not wanting to do that, and I ended up working for the Miami Dolphins. So I ended up working for the Miami Dolphins after school because I'm a huge sports fan, love the Dolphins. Actually, when I'm here this weekend to watch the Dolphins game with my dad, we're going to get killed this week, but that's okay. We're a terrible team, definitely the worst team in the NFL, but that's all right. So when I went to the Dolphins, you know, for a long time in my life, and I know, Chad, you'll agree with this, a lot of people would say, like, you can do anything you set your mind to, right? You can be an attorney, and you can be a psychologist, and you can be a doctor. And I was so tired of hearing that same old trope, like, no, I can't. I can't jump off a roof and fly. I can't become an astronaut. I can't become a math whiz. None of those things I'm capable of, and I really didn't believe in it. But when I was back at square one after school had ended, still had the 5 clients, still didn't even know what digital marketing or social media marketing was. This is 2014 now. I started working for the Miami Dolphins because I called them every day for 60 days in a row, and I would hear every objection. Hey, he's not in the office now. Hey, we're not available. Hey, he's not interested, blah, 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 blah. Until finally, the front desk lady is like, okay, I'll patch you through. And his name was Jason Jenkins, who still works for the Miami Dolphins, the PR director. And during that like elevator music between the hold where it's like doo 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 doo, I'm like, oh my God. I've been waiting for this moment for 2 months. I have no idea what to say at all. He picks up the phone. Jason Jenkins, Miami Dolphins PR department. How can I help you? Hi, Jason. My name's Alex. I'm fan Dolphin. Media. Me. He's like, yeah. You see on Sunday you're credentialed. And that was it. And I was Miami Dolphins credentialed media member. I couldn't believe it.
And you're saying that the money's in the follow-up.
Money's in the follow-up, 100%.
I'm just saying.
My persistence.
I'm just saying.
My persistence won me that opportunity. I worked for the Dolphins for about 6 months, and from that is how I figured out digital marketing. I also worked for the UFC at that same time, doing journalism, and I met someone at an event here in Hollywood, Florida, at Hard Rock for World Series of Fighting, and he was using a Twitter application I hadn't seen before. And it was called TweetDeck. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's like multiple Twitters at once. And I sparked up a conversation, and he said to me, I am a social media manager. And those words for the first time had created what my side hustle was for the last 5 years. And I'm like, holy shit, that's what I do. I do this for side hustling for attorneys, but I'm trying to become like, you know, Miami Dolphins guy, like media member 100%. And he's like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. He's like, you're not gonna make it to ESPN. You're not gonna do this, right? It's just not gonna work. Why don't you consider just like diving full force into social media marketing? And I didn't even consider it. He gave me his card, and then I dove full force. I bought Dave Rogan-Moser's 6K Success course, $1,000. Shout out to Dave, great guy, really changed my life and changed a lot of other people's lives. Watched that, did that, and then about a month after that, this guy that I met at this event called me up, and he's like, yo, I just got hired by Razorfish, which is a massive media company in Seattle. He's like, I need to give away my 5 sports social media marketing clients. So he just gave me a business of $5,500 recurring revenue. So I had 5 attorneys, I had 5 digital marketing clients, quit working for the Dolphins, quit working for UFC, and now suddenly I have a 6-figure business. Like that, in instant. Like, what just happened?
I want to ask you some questions.
Craziness. It's craziness.
I want to ask some questions because I know these people. First of all, guys, if you're live and you're watching, I need you to do 2 things for me. 1, drop a 786 in the chat to make sure that you are even here and alive and you're on the same page. Because if we could, trust me, we would jump through this camera and shake the shit out of you to make sure that you're here with us. So 786, if that's the first number that I said, drop it in the chat, okay? That's the first thing that you need to do. And I know we're live on my personal page, and then we are also live on the Marketer's Mindset Facebook group, so we split up our audience a little bit, but it's okay.
Savage.
Okay. The second thing I want to ask is, what was your biggest hurdle throughout the last, or to getting to like your first, let's say 10K month? What was if you could go rewind back 5 years or whatever, however long back you want to rewind back, like before you hit your first 10K a month in recurring revenue, like what would you tell yourself?
Yeah, so the biggest obstacle I had when I started was just a massive ignorance. Just like I'm in the mindset of like I'm like a really smart person. I believe in myself. I feel like Superman sometimes. Like especially my ego inflated a lot. Just being real. After I got the Miami Dolphins opportunity, I got that from doing nothing other than just being persistent.
Yep.
Like literally, my childhood dream of working for the Miami Dolphins, all I had to do was just call them and call them and call them and be willing to hear no more times than they were willing to say no. Yep. Right. So from that, I kind of felt like. Not godlike, but that if I'm being real, like, oh yeah, I'm perfect. I can't mess this up. What ended up happening was I kind of was gifted my first $10,000 business because I created the opportunities with the attorneys, created the opportunities with the social media marketing for sports companies. But as soon as I identified that I'm not indispensable to them, meaning they could leave me at any time, we left on a quick trip. This is before our honeymoon, but we left on a quick trip for like 2 weeks, and I gave a couple of my interns. I had some interns from Indiana University and UM and UCF, and I gave them some of the roles to just post on Facebook, and we lost 4 clients, just like that. And I realized that the biggest obstacle I had was that I had created a freelance job with me being the requirement to be successful. Like, I'm the one that has to make the post. I'm the one that has to
So you're wearing
do
all the
research.
hats.
I was doing everything. So I didn't realize that until it slapped me right in the face, where it's like, oh, like these people will not just continually pay me for subpar work. Like I have to put in effort into this. And that was like the massive transition that I needed to be able to execute more efficiently. And the funniest part of this is that I spent the next year with Shira, who is my wife and also my business partner. We spent the next year building out systems. Shira's a maestro of organization and system development. And we put out like all of our process for here's the content that we do, our 5-day calendar. Here's how you set it up for a whole month. Like the whole thing.
Calendar,
you of course know
our
this.
calendar combo that we just had.
So we set this whole thing up. It was amazing. We hired a couple people, and then we went on a honeymoon for a month. We're like, we're not going to work at all in this honeymoon. We're going to build a real business. We left with about a $12,500 business per month. We came back to about $2,000. We lost everything. And it was like, I was so frustrated because I thought I learned the mistake from like the year prior with the interns and stuff, and I thought I brought in the right people. I brought in some good friends of mine. Not that they're not capable of it, it just was, I was picking the wrong people with the wrong processes and systems. So I realized then that we really need to double down on focusing on creating a business and not just creating a freelance company because we can't just keep doing freelance work forever. It's gonna burn us out, it's gonna frustrate us, it's gonna create anxiety, and it was starting to create tension in our personal relationship, which can never be superseded. Like personal relationship has to be number one, and then the business comes second. So that was like the main catalyst to me becoming like the systems guy, focusing on what are we missing here? Like what's the obvious process? And the biggest thing by far, tracking and then 80-20. So many people come to me and they're
100%.
telling me like what obstacles they have, and they take no time to identify what they've dealt with before to learn how to overcome it. They're just like, oh, I'm still stuck in the same spot.
I think where a lot of agencies fails is they have absolutely no system, no protocol, nothing. They're just like shooting
not even for
bullets.
80-20 either. Not even for like reviewing, right? Like a lot of people ask me where, and this is some real value I'm gonna share. A lot of people ask me like, Alex, I feel so lost in clarity. And if guys, if you feel that you're lost in clarity, throw 7 in the comments below. This is gonna help you a lot.
Get the GoPro real quick.
This is gonna be super, super valuable. Talia Hav, what's up, bro? So this is gonna be very, very legit. When Shira and I were struggling to identify what we needed to do first, because there's always seemingly like, I don't know, 500,000 things to do in your life and in your business at all times. It's never like, oh yeah, I'm done. I don't have to do anything. It just doesn't happen that way. There's always something to do. I gotta get the groceries. I gotta do this. I gotta feed the baby. I gotta do, and then all the other business stuff, right? So what we identified was 5 specific questions that allowed us to create clarity, and I'll name them for you, and they're really, really solid. Number 1 is what took my energy. Now, in the frame, it depends on how often you do it. We recommend our clients do it weekly. If you are really successful already as a business owner, every month is really effective, and this is how you 80-20, and Shira and I do this every single month. So we say, very simply, what took my energy this month, right? And we just write down everything, a massive brain dump, everything, business and personal, so we can identify it and just let it be. A lot of people let all these emotional thoughts go in their head, and they don't take any time to journal it or put it down. It creates massive anxiety inside of themselves because they're kind of taking a week or a month or even a year of anxiousness, frustration, difficulty, and they're mushing it together into like one feeling. And that crushes people, right? It absolutely crushes people. It destroys your soul, and they want to quit their entrepreneurship opportunities and move on. So number 1 question, what took your energy this week or this month? The next question, just as important, is what non-CEO activities did I do this month? Now, if you're not the CEO, it's whatever your role is. So if you're the CMO, COO, ads guy, non-ads guy thing did I do this month, okay? The next question is, what can be delegated? Based on what took my energy and what things that I didn't do that were outside of my role, what can be delegated? You cannot delegate anything if you do not have a system for the delegation, so thus the fourth question is, what systems do I need? The final question is, based on what took my energy, based on what non-roles I did, based on the systems that I need, and based on what can be delegated, what can I stop doing? You might identify that there is a shitload of things that you are doing that are completely irrelevant. They have no purpose or any reason whatsoever in your business, and you can completely stop it. Those are the 5 questions to clarity. I do this with Shira every single month. It is the single most valuable exercise to create clarity. Anytime I work with someone in terms of their concern about what to do next and how to do it, create clarity on what the goal is, clarity over ambiguity, and then write down these 5 questions. And I shared it at the mastermind at Rob's, but it's such a powerful model.
So for those of you guys who just swallowed that fire, that was amazing. Swallow the fire. But legitimately, guys, like, and I agree with you with everything you said. We just launched our Marketer's Mindset podcast literally a couple of days ago. And the second podcast that I did, the second or third podcast, I think there's only 3 of them out right now. But one of the last 2 podcasts that I did was stop wearing all the hats or your business will fail.
100%.
And literally what I spoke about was some of the touch points that you had about how you have to like take, delegate, create a system, create a process. Like if you don't do that, you're going to be flat out on your ass faster than you think. Like it's going to be horrible, right?
And that's why I struggled though. When I told you that I had those 2 like kind of serendipity moments where I realized, okay, I need more systems, but then I still failed it when we went about a year later on our honeymoon. We still lost all of our clients. It was like, but we delegated it. I don't get it.
Yep.
We missed the key piece in between it, and that's what that 3rd and 4th question is, right? Like, what do I need to delegate? You can't delegate without having the systems to delegate it. We just delegated it to a person. We're like, hey, just do it, right? You can do it, but without any sort of guidelines, process, procedure, system. It's like going to a restaurant, hiring a chef, and just being like, oh, don't worry about our famous meatball recipe, just do it, right? And then people come to the restaurant, they're like, yeah, these are good, but this isn't the famous meatball recipe.
These are not the famous meatballs that I wanted.
That's the model. That's what we were missing, and I didn't realize it until it kind of slapped me in the face. And my goal is slapping you in the face virtually to tell you this, because I think it's such a valuable piece of information to really get clarity on.
I love it. I love it. I think for those of you guys, and I think a lot of people, when you're talking about like getting clients, right? Because I know we're on that topic. I think the biggest struggle that people have is just landing the first client, because usually as an agency owner, you'll know this, like landing your first client unleashes sometimes the fucking doors to Narnia,
100%.
right? It's like, oh my God, I got my client. I understand that I have to call him. I understand what I have to do now to service him. I understand what I need to do to actually go out and get that client. Like I understand now, and then I can maybe take that and do it again and get my second client. And then when you get that second client, you're like, holy fuck, this is like the real deal. Holyfield, I got 2 clients. I'm making $300 a month. This is getting serious.
Owner.
Yeah. So, and then like you go and like you do it again and again and again. You're like, damn, I'm getting good at this, right? And then you slowly refine your process. You build your systems. But like, what was like? I know you talked about like getting your first client, and that's different, obviously, because that was maybe your friend or somebody that you knew.
Yeah. In terms of my actionable action to get my first client that I didn't know.
What would you recommend, like if somebody doesn't have any clients and they have an agency? There's a lot of people on here which have that and they're in that hot seat. What's the number one thing you would tell them to do right now? Like literally stop what they're doing and do this right now to pick up your first client.
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is probably something that most people wouldn't expect, but I think it's critical. I think the actual battle is not getting your first client. The actual battle is your own self. It's your own mindset. It's disbelief. It's imposter syndrome. It's can I do this? Am I offering the right thing? I'm scared to look stupid, right? So like a lot of people would come to me, and no matter where they're at in their business, specifically newer people, in terms of like, oh, I'm scared to get on a call and make an offer if they say no. And I'm like, okay, let's work this out. Like you're allowing the word fear, right, to stop you from taking action. So let's break it down and see if we can come up with something that makes sense. So I will challenge everyone to do exactly this. If you feel anxiety or fear or frustration or imposter syndrome, do exactly this model, okay? So you are afraid of getting on a call because you look stupid. Let's say you look stupid on a call. What happens next? Get off the call, you feel shitty about yourself, you try to learn from it, and you get on the next call. And then hopefully you won't look as stupid, right?
That's very true.
Then you do it again.
I look stupid all the time. But I like it.
So I'll tell you guys my stupidest sales story. This is hilarious and very, very true. So when I was in, just after I graduated college, Shira was 1 year behind me. So I had a year of building the business.
First
by
and
myself.
foremost,
Yes.
can we hit the GoPro really quick? Can we get props for Shira? Because his wife is actually in the house here in the studio, and this is his wife, his business partner. Let's get like a huge raise the roof moment for Shira for killing it with Alex. Okay,
Yes,
I just wanted to get that out.
100%. So during this year, what I was trying to do now is I was going door to door because I'm like a very personable person, and I know attorneys have no interest in getting on the phone with you, but if I walk in, you're forced, right? So I walked into someone's office, I forgot his name actually, and he was like, hey, I don't have the time for this, but I like your gall, I like your audacity, come back tomorrow at 12, I'll be here. I'm like, fuck yeah, awesome. So I go back home, get ready for the meeting the next day. This is a personal injury attorney. So I walk into his office and I sit down and he's like reading a newspaper, which is like, this is weird. What year are we in right now? Reading a newspaper, and I'm like, hey bro, I didn't say hey bro, but I didn't say that. I was like, hey, like I'm here, like can we chat? He's like, yeah, hold on. He's like literally reading the newspaper. He does one of the classic like movie lines, like pulls the little like leaf down, looks over it with his nose, right? He's like, give me a minute. Flips it back up and I'm just standing there. Like, okay, well this is awkward. Finally puts it down. I give him my pitch. I feel 100% confident. I just crushed it. I'm 100% confident. I don't exactly remember the price. I think it was either 25 or 5,000. So 2,500 or 5,000. I can't remember what the offer exactly was.
That was monthly or like just a one-time thing?
It was monthly. It was monthly. Because now this was the first time we were offering ads, right? Because
Gotcha.
I had graduated, I learned about ads, and I was trying to do it. I had a couple other people that could do ads for me. I don't want to do personal injury PPC ads because this guy was running a billboard. It's like, dude, if you're running a billboard, you can get like actually tracked results from ads, and you're paying for it. So no brainer. So I go through my whole spiel. And he's like, man, I love you. I love your audacity. I love your passion. I love your fire. I want to work with you, but here's the deal. We're going to work on my terms. Right now, he takes the frame. He controls everything. I'm still very new at sales. So if now I would like stop it, you were not going to work on your terms. I wasn't prepared to do that. I wasn't ready. So I'm like, okay, sure. Well, what's your terms? So he goes, here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to pay you for this first month. You're going to run the ads. Okay, you're going to run the ads for us. If we land even one client, I'm going to double your payment for this next month. I'm going to double it. To showcase that, like, hey, I'm serious about this, but you got to prove it first. I'm like, okay, appreciate the offer, fair. Here's what I want to say. Let's just turn the tables here. Let's have a conversation. Let's say I came in here because I got into a car accident, right? And I told you, hey, like, I only want to pay you if you win my case. Would you do that? He's like, that's exactly what we do. I'm like, oh, God. Oh, God, can I go home? Can I go home? I'm such a dipshit.
That's how you hit a
like,
wall.
literally on the billboard it says, don't pay us unless we win. I'm like, oh my God. Well, obviously all my positioning's gone. I look like an idiot. Obviously I don't know anything about his niche. Personal injury attorneys very commonly do this model, and that's why he was offering it to me. So I look like an idiot, right? And I tell this story to people because when I get on calls with them, they're like, dude, you're so good at sales, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm good at it because I've made so many fucking mistakes. I've looked like a dipshit so many times.
How many cold calls do you think you've made in your career?
So it's a really funny question you asked that. So I'm really not a big fan of cold calls. I did
cold walk-ins.
Angel saw this. I've done a lot of cold walk-ins. So I did right before we went to Rob Quinn's mastermind. I did a cold call session with my partner Brian, and we were like, if we could book an appointment, we would not have to eat a hot wing. But if we couldn't book the appointment, we had to eat the hottest hot wing from Buffalo Wild Wings, which is a really funny video. We're gonna do it again. It was just punishing for me, so I don't know if I actually want to do it again. Someone wants me to do it with shots. I don't think I can handle that. So, so when I was starting my business, anytime I would cold call someone, they would get angry like really fast.
Yep.
And I'm a pretty emotional person. And if I was coaching myself, it'd be like, hey, don't be a bitch, but also I'm a bitch. So like if I'm being real about it, I would be like, okay, maybe I should try something else. So I started sending out an email with an offer, which I would end up calling a prospecting offer when I started coaching, which is an offer to make someone to get them on a call. So like, hey, can I do a competitor's analysis for you? I would love to help you. Even if they don't answer, I'd call the next day and say, hey, did you see the email I sent you? This is what I ended up calling warm calls. And that kind of became like my IP and my model. And I just do warm calls a lot. I don't do the warm calls as much anymore because we're not really focused on the agency growth, more so on the coaching program. But when I do, like in my program on Tuesday, for example, we have a setup appointment setting. So like I will call for you to show like, it doesn't matter if you get yelled at right at the end of one of the videos that I did on the Hot Wings. Some guy's like, give me the fucking number. I'm like, number for what? Like, I don't know what you're talking. Okay, you're mad. Bye. Like, what else am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to
call the other 5,000
yeah,
people
am I
on
supposed
my
to
list?
get all like in my feelings? So, like, I know you asked about the first client thing, and I think really the base of the first client is overcoming your own emotional instability of like, I'm not good enough, I don't feel capable of this, I'm scared, like, that's totally normal. It's just like a human being emotion. Just overcome it and walk through it, because anytime you walk through uncomfort in your life, 99% of the time, life's greatest treasures are on the other side. Yep. And if it's not, then you'll learn from it and you go from there. Like, this is not a death scenario. Like, you're not gonna call someone and spontaneously combust if you look like an idiot. You're gonna go home and you're gonna watch Netflix and you're gonna drink a beer and feel shitty about it, and then you're gonna learn from it, and that's it. So specifically what to do if you don't have a client yet. I think the obvious, and some people really forget about this, right? Like, utilize your current network more than anything. I think that's the obvious.
Your network is your net worth.
A lot of people don't even think about this, but there's a decent amount of like pretty religious people in the world today, and they have like, they go to church, or they go to temple, they go to like religious events, they go to community events. Those are amazing ways to create connections with people, to baseline it on, hey, I'm new. Will you bet on me with me, right? People love to help people who are looking to help themselves. The reason Lloyd, my first client ever, when my next door neighbor wanted to work with me, is not because he just knew that Facebook would work. He knew I wanted to do something. He knew I couldn't have enough money to be able to go to school by myself. And he wanted to bet on me with me. And that was really impactful for me. It was like, thank you so much for believing in me and allowing me to show you what I can do, right? I think a lot of people get stuck because they're brand new and they're trying to go to people like a med spa attorney that has never heard of you. You have no proof, no case studies, nothing, and you're trying to go cold in there. Like, you can absolutely be super talented and super capable of, not, I wouldn't say manipulating, but creating influence into someone to say, hey, I'm brand new to this, but I'll still pay you $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. It's hard though. I mean,
it's a lot harder than the other people that you know.
That's why DashClicks is so important, where it's like, I have the proof for you, now go fucking sell it. That's literally why we're here. But the idea is, right, like, if you're brand new, you have to work with people that want to help themselves. This is one of my favorite stories. I love this story. It's from Chris Rock. So Chris Rock, driving in LA on the classic highway, I forgot what it is, US 1 or whatever it is. He's driving on the highway and his car breaks down. Pulls over to the road. This is a famous comedian, Chris Rock. Gets out of his car, waving down cars. Waving down cars. Right? No one stops. No one gives a shit. They don't care it's Chris Rock. They don't care that he's on the side of the road. Everyone's busy. He's like, well, shit, I gotta do this myself now. Throws the car into neutral, starts pushing the car. What happens? Cars start pulling back. Why? Because people like to help people who want to help themselves, right? He's not just sitting there asking for what people would call a handout, right? I know it's very like, it's super like a controversial term, but he's literally pushing the car himself. People see that and they understand the stress. Like, well, what if I was pushing that car? I'd hope someone would pull up behind me, right? I remember a couple years ago, Cher and I, our tire exploded while we're on the car on the side of the road. Someone pulled up behind us like, hey, do you need help? I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to lift the jack because I'm an idiot and not a man. So help me. But it was like, thank you, man. Thank you for helping us, right? Like, it's really important to start with your network. If not, I would say better than cold calling is going in person. Like, getting out of the computer and just going into the real world and creating those opportunities, it's insane. Very valuable.
Last question I have for you before we wrap up. What do you think about DashClicks, about the concept? I know you came here, we're gonna meet today, and we're gonna talk about that stuff after. So tell us what you think, because I like to get other business owners and especially agency owners. I wanna get your thought process about what you think about DashClicks, the process and stuff like that. Just tell me your thoughts.
Love it. So the way that I grew my agency was, I knew for a fact I was not capable of running ads. So I actually bought a course, $997 course for ads.
Been there, done that.
I started the course and I'm like, oh, nope. Can't do this. This is not my skill. I don't know what he's saying. This is over my head, the ad sets and the things, and just too much, right? I couldn't do it. And I was like, if I can't do this, but I can really sell and I can get people to want to buy from me, I have to find someone that can provide. So I ended up finding a company. It doesn't need to be named on this because we're talking about DashClicks, but I worked with another company and they did great for me, right? Every single client that I work with, there's really two major options to grow an agency. You can start from scratch, build out your own SOPs and standard operating procedures for fulfillment, and hire your own team. That's gonna take time. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes. You're gonna lose clients from it. Let's just be real.
10 years in, I can tell you that.
100%, it's gonna happen no matter what you do. Or you can find a company that identified that there's a lot of space in digital marketing for people to productize and sell, even if you just wanna do it as a side hustle, have 5, 6, 7 clients, and know that the fulfillment is done. That's what DashClicks is for. That's why I'm here today, because I work with about 500 agency owners, and I would say 90% of them want to outsource it because they want to do what I teach, which is prospecting and sales.
Focusing on the front end.
Exactly. So when I tell them, hey, DashClicks is a company that can offer these services for you, you can make a actually very nice margin on it and ensure that your clients are satisfied. It's a no-brainer.
And
That's
have
what
a
I'm here
beautiful
for.
platform inside.
100%. And
Wrapped
also,
up all in one.
Have this. I mean,
Look
this
at
is
this.
crazy.
Look at this. Oh, the screen's going to go bad on me. No, now it's working. Look at this.
Beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
All right, guys. Once again, this has been Alex Schlinsky. Alex, where can they find you if they want to find you?
Yeah, easiest way is facebook.com/Schlinsky, SCHLINSKY. I have a free group also, High Ticket Sales and Systems for entrepreneurs. Pretty badass, and I'm happy to help you out.
Join the group. Follow Alex. Thank you guys for joining us on a Quick Marketer's Mindset episode. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.